Boom. Welcome to Questions About Animations, where I answer your questions about animations. This pertains to questions from episode 2 of A Beginner's Guide to Stop Motion. If you want to check that out, you can click it right up here. And without further ado, let's get into these questions. The first question is from X Primus. X Primus asks, is stop motion easy to get into? Because I've been wanting to get into it for a while now, and I have cool action figures that would be good for it. Yes, it is actually really easy to get into. If you want any guide to how to start up, my Beginner's Guide to Stop Motion Part 1 is actually perfect for it, where I teach you all the stuff you need and the app you should use for stop motion animation. And stop motion animation isn't only limited to action figures. You can actually stop motion using anything: clothes, toys, food, your household materials, anything, literally anything that you can take a picture of. Next question is by Mr. Magingosaurus. They ask, for the questions, how do you properly take off the accessories like the hands without making the figure move around? Even with sticky tack, they kind of bounce back a bit. It's actually pretty simple. You just have to be really careful and remember what's the exact pose you left it at, and you're pretty much good to go. With Marvel Legends, it's actually really difficult to swap out hands during stop motion since it's really tough to take out. Not only Marvel Legends, actually, it can actually apply to SHF as well, since sometimes they have ball peg joints for the hands and it's really a hassle to swap out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You just have to be really careful. Up next, a couple of you have asked, where do I get my action figures from? Personally, I mostly order them online since I often don't have time for, going to actual physical stores. So I mainly buy my action figures online, and I can recommend you some websites that you can trust. Among them are Big Bad Toy Store, Hobby Genki, Hobby Like Japan, and Nin Nin Game. They're pretty much synonymous among the collectors community, and you can really trust them with buying your action figures. Next up, Figure Fan 784 and Geek Motion 1018 actually asked, why do I have like that paper thing around my camera? I think you saw it in one of my videos. Basically, that's as simple as this. When I film, I noticed that with how my animations are shot, the light being angled that way is kind of putting a glare on the screen, and I don't really like it. So what I personally do is like put a little safety hood or like frame around it so the light won't glare across the screen, and provide a cleaner picture. It's really situational with what type of lighting you have. Sometimes it's not even necessary, but for me, I did it so no glares. Now to the question like a ton of you have asked, how did I mirror the stop motion app to my iPad from my phone? If you want to animate from your iPad and you want to use your camera as your phone, what you do is install this remote camera app. It has the same logo as Stop Motion Studio, but screen with some Wi-Fi waves on it. And basically what you need to do is install the app and follow these instructions. On the Stop Motion Studio app on the iPad, there's a remote camera feature where you can Bluetooth your DSLR or use your phone. Okay, listen carefully. Make sure that they're connected on the same Wi-Fi, your phone and your iPad. Next up is go to your remote camera app on your phone, which is you're using as your camera, and there should be like a website or like code there which you need to input into the iPad. Once done, they should connect normally. And voila, you pretty much mirrored your camera as your phone and your iPad as your interface. What's amazing about that is the quality of your camera will be applied to your iPad, which is amazing. Just something to note, when you're using this strategy, don't base your eyes on what the animation will turn out like. Don't base it on your phone because sometimes it's much closer than it actually is. So what you should do is look to your iPad, the interface you're on, because that's the actual final product, not the phone. And once you're done with that, it's an amazing tool to use when you can't really, animate on your phone, or if you want to avoid like shaking the phone while animating and keep the camera as still as possible. Video gayo kasogima. Kisomia. Up next is a question from Video Gio Kaya Kesomia. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but they asked, do you record with your telephone or your iPad? It's very situational. For simple stop motion animations, I, just film with my phone, like shorts and stuff. I don't really have to use the iPad. But for complicated animations such as the Deadpool dance, I use the iPad so I can have a clearer view of the animation at hand and to really avoid shaking the camera when, changing angles or just clicking the capture button. If it's on the iPad, I have to just click there and the camera won't shake, which is pretty much way better for the result of my animations. So it's just, all in all, situational. And Tater Tots 101 asks, when's the next Bootleg Chronicles coming? It's coming at... This is actually a perfect time to talk about my YouTube membership. By joining my YouTube memberships and becoming a marvelous member, you can have so many perks like 1 week early access to long form videos such as these, and specifically the question you're asking, and answers to questions such as these. If you're a member, you get a really good timeline of what videos will come soon, like 8 videos ahead. You'll know what videos are going to come soon, and I basically make these update videos and stuff, and so much more perks. So if you want to join, just go to your computer and click the join button right next to, hopefully, a subscribe button, and greatly help my channel and help me make more amazing animations, well, marvelous animations such as these. And I can't thank you guys enough for supporting my channel from here on out. Look for Animation asks, they are also a member, you get a little cool badge and saying you're a member and stuff. Anyway, they asked, how do I time the stop motions perfectly with the audios I choose? It's pretty simple, also kind of weird. For me, what happens is, I scroll on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, I hear an audio, and I don't know how else to explain it. The animation just pops into my head like picture, well, animate, I guess. I can picture how it will turn out and what poses I should use and what the emotion will be, who the characters will be, and that's pretty much it. I act it out, and since my figures can't talk for the most part, since I don't animate their mouths, it's pretty easy to just go from pose to pose, oh my god, stuff like that. And it's much easier to animate since I just have to hold that pose for whatever dialogue is going on. And once I did that, it's pretty much it. It's not really that complicated. MonTV3674 asks, when I try and make YouTube shorts, I have to look inside the middle squares and it's so annoying. I don't quite understand what you meant by that, but I'm guessing it's this, and I agree, it's really annoying. So what I do, since it's just a portrait, when I animate, it's just I just animate like this, and that's pretty much the easiest way to do it. And when I edit on CapCut, I just rotate it back to portrait, so it would make sense. And it's like I'm filming in portrait, even though the interface is naturally landscape, and I just portrait it. Just simple as that. Henry Thomas asks, why is my picture quality so bad? I use 4K original output. I'm not sure. It could depend on many things. So you can check if it's just your camera, if your camera doesn't support 4K, or double check what setting you have it on. Because personally, I use 4K UHD TV quality, and it actually works fine for me. So maybe the original output doesn't process your image to be 4K, so maybe that's the reason why it looks bad. Kerry Lovato asks, can I use a pink background that's like a green screen? Well, you can, technically, but I would suggest you don't do it since really vibrant colors doesn't match well with the camera and it just, it hurts to look at. So try, medium colors or like matted or dark colors to be your green screen. But for green screening, you only use green or blue screen. Green screen if your character doesn't have any green parts to them, or for characters like the lizard, you have to use a blue screen so the background won't blend to your toy. So the green screen, or I guess the blue screen, would work as intended. And the last question from a lot of people is, how do you animate fight scenes? Well, that's actually what episode 3 of A Beginner's Guide to Stop Motion will all be about. It's going to be discussing on how to animate, power and strength and, basically all the stuff you need to use, the ingredients you need for animating a fight scene. So look out for that to be posted soon. What am I doing? Anyways, that's it for all the questions. I hope I answered your questions. If you notice that your question hasn't been answered, I may have replied to your comment, or I may have already answered it from the part 1 of this QbA. So that's about it for me, and happy animating. Oh my god, face reveal. Oh. Boom.